What we want to do now is take a little step into ArcGIS. So ArcGIS is Esri's GIS product, and it's the one which the majority of you will be using right now in the variety of your different types of work. ArcGIS can be considered many things to many people, and this diagram attempts to show the fact that while being a GIS, there's also elements and components in there which will be used by people who maybe don't consider themselves GIS professionals, or maybe couldn't even spell GIS. That could be used for simple mapping, embedding a mapping component in a website or in an app. It can be used for analytics. Data scientists will use these same tools, albeit with a different bent. Location services, the core components within a GIS, can be made available to ArcGIS or other developers to embed within their applications. The nice thing is that the same data sets and capabilities are available across the board. Whether it's a software that you install on your computer, whether it's a SaaS that lives in the cloud, or whether it's PaaS, platform as a service, which might be a more embeddable approach to the same sorts of technologies. Also, how this can be implemented is open to many different options. So whether you're looking to do this in a desktop environment, you're using your GIS desktop tools to do your work, whether you're looking to do that on a mobile application, taking your information and capabilities into and out of the field, maybe entirely offline, or whether you're looking to use web apps, which is probably the biggest use of GIS capabilities, is through a browser and web apps, which, as we'll see later on this morning, are becoming really, really powerful and actually putting some serious capabilities into the hands of people without having to install any apps or software. The key thing is this is underpinned by ArcGIS Enterprise and ArcGIS Online, the backbone of all of these capabilities, so that information and capability can be shared between these different users and these different applications with the same capabilities being shared. One thing which has really changed in ArcGIS in the last maybe 4 or 5 years is the rich variety of data sets that we can bring in and use natively within ArcGIS. There's a huge amount of information out there which is maybe not in a traditional GIS format. It's not in a shapefile or as a feature layer inside of GIS per se. But with the new capabilities and increasing level of interoperability, we can bring in data sets which are in other formats, but which have that location element, and we can bring that in and consider it a layer alongside our more traditional data sources. This really opens up the ability for us to work with other disciplines in our organizations and to do some really interesting workflows. Information from the BIM and AEC world, bringing that in its rich format and using that inside of our GIS. Real-time information being brought in. Modeling and other data science components being brought into the GIS. There's a huge variety of them and it's growing. And if you're not doing this already, I'd recommend looking at the different options you have to bring in non-traditional GIS data sources into your workflows. The other aspect or characteristic of ArcGIS is it's considered an enterprise system. And by enterprise, we don't just mean that it's uses ArcGIS Enterprise, the product. We're talking about it being used across an organization, used by a variety of different people, putting the right tool into the right hand at the right time. Whether that be GIS professionals or executives, field workers, contractors, etc. The information is the same, but the tool they're using might be different, and the user experience would also be different. And that's an important aspect of success, I would suggest. The last characteristic of ArcGIS I want to cover here up front is the fact that it's rapidly advancing. There's a huge amount of effort goes in from the Esri teams, which are now a global development effort, into making sure that the ArcGIS tools are the greatest, that they have the new enhancements, they support new formats, but also working with mainstream IT advancements to make sure that they're incorporated in. Things like deep learning, a few years ago incorporating cloud, making the most of cloud. So it's that combination of core development plus working with mainstream IT advances to make sure the tools that are in your hands are the best possible to help you do your job. Today, as we go into the ArcGIS system, we wanted to take a little bit of a different approach to what we've maybe done at previous events, whether it was the conference or this event last year. We acknowledge the fact that there are the ArcGIS products there. There's ArcGIS Pro, there's ArcGIS Enterprise, there's the field apps, there's online and platform, etc. But another way of looking at this in terms of what ArcGIS can do for you is to look at the capabilities. So the capabilities are layered across all of these different products. 3D isn't a separate application. It's a capability which is available across a range of different products. The same with data management, visualization, analytics, etc. So today, instead of going through product by product, we want to take a look at the capabilities which underpin those and give you the latest advancements that are happening in each of those.